I like to make my patchwork coasters into a 4.5 inch square. So I cut 2.5 squares to make this coaster. For each square is a finished size of 1.5 inches. So then 3 times 1.5 is 4.5. So this is my finished patchwork coaster with the mitered corners, as you can see. My finished patchwork coaster. 4.5 inches in size. Okay, my next item is my 7.5 inch patchwork pot holder. You can see the little heart shaped quilting lines. This is my 7.5 inch patchwork coaster. Here are my mitered corners. This is my finished patchwork pot holder. Here's the back. And then here's the front again. And this is about 7.5 inches. This is my finished patchwork pot holder. And there's my heart-shaped quilting lines again. What I do is just print off a heart shape of different sizes on cardstock, and then cut the cardstock pieces out, put painter's tape on the back, and then lay it down and sew around it. And I can go in so that you all can get, yes, I did make it. It's like a little quilt. That's why I've started to do videos called little quilts, because I consider like a patchwork coaster, a patchwork pot holder, a mug rug, little quilts. So I have started to upload videos called little quilts. So here's my, thank you. Here's my patchwork pot holder again. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe as you come in if you don't mind. If you have any questions, you can ask and I will answer them. Any questions on quilting? I have been quilting 20 years, so it's really worth it for you all to subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. I've been going live for the past few Saturdays and Sundays. I plan to keep that up. Yeah, but this is my finished patchwork pot holder. And for those of you all who are coming in late, this is my little patchwork coaster. So if you can tell, I like to have little matching items like little sets. So for this set, I have the patchwork coaster, I have the patchwork pot holder, and I also have a mug rug. This is the back of the coaster. This is the front again. And I can go in closer so that you all can see it. Okay, I also have my mug rug that I haven't finished, which I left this unfinished intentionally so that I can show you all my little binding strip on the top, how I have sewn it on. And right here is where my join took place. So you just, and if I open it up, you can see where I sewed the two strips. Oh, I've sewn across, and so no, you can't see it today. So I have to show you all that for my next item. The next time I get a chance, I make sure I show you all the binding strip. I'll make sure I leave it where I can show it to you. Okay, so then for the binding strip, you just sew it on. There are tons of videos out there on that. And then so I machine sew my binding strip to the front and hand sew my binding strip to the back. And then you can see once you sew it, I've already sewn it on. So technically all I would do at this point is just come around, take that, make that into a little, fold it over, and then on the front, you can see how it'll have the miter. So it's very important to sew your binding strip on the front and fold it over to the back so it'll look right. You want your miters, you want this to show on the front, the actual mitered corners. You don't want this part to show on the front. That's not done properly. I was doing it until I saw that was the improper way to do it. So now what I do is machine sew my binding strip onto the front and hand sew it to the back. So for this item here, the only thing I have to do now is just fold it over and then pin it down or put clips on it and hand sew it. So yeah, so that's my corners again. So it's like magic, but if you do it right, you will have your mitered corners. See, all I have to do is just fold that over to the back and hand sew it on. So what I started to do, I put 3 layers of batting in my pot holders and my coasters, and then in my mug rugs I put 2 layers of batting. But I may, if I want my quilting to really pop, then I put 3 layers of batting. And this how it looks on the back, and you can see the little hearts. And then it looks much better on the front, of course. And again, I just took some hard shapes, printed it off on cardstock, cut it out, put painter's tape on the back, laid it down in a square, and sewed around. And the thread, and the thread I used to quilt this mug rug, it was like maybe at least 4 or 5 colors of thread. So that's why it looks kind of, cute and, different colors. It's not all the same color thread. It's several colors of thread that I use to quilt my mug rug. And I can go in closer for you all to see my mug rug. Make sure you all, if you don't mind, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Leave comments, watch some of my other videos. I am trying to get my watch hours up. So yeah, once I fold it over, it's gonna look really nice. Another item I have to show you all today is this is the progress that I've made on this is going to be a pot holder. So what you see here is matchstick quilting. Let me go in closer so that you can see that. And I sew each line individual, so I have to take these threads, put in a darning needle, put them in a darning needle, and I push them through to the back and bury them in the back under the backing fabric and back. But this would be end up being a patchwork pot holder, and this is how it looks on the back. So once I get it done and trimmed, it will look really nice. And then when you cut the curved pieces out for your quilting, you have to go around these curves right here. You have to make sure you use a small size rotary cutter. So this is I think it's a 28 something, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is a 28. See how small it is versus a regular size rotary cutter. So yeah, so then it'll be easier for you to, go around the curves or whatever. And you go slowly and don't make sure you don't cut yourself. But yeah, you need a small size rotary cutter to cut around this apple core block. It would be the same kind of cutting going on for the Drunkard's Path template and the actual template. There's a template that you use to make the mask. Remember when everybody was making masks? When it first started. So that plastic template with the curves, you have to use a small size rotary cutter, and you just take your time. And then when you go to bind the curves, you can't use a straight strip like you do with your, like if you was putting binding on a rectangle quilt or a square quilt. You have to use binding strips, and that's just where you bring the fabric down like this, like I said yesterday. And this line right here is the bias, and that's where you would cut that strip along that bias. So instead of like you wouldn't, so it was like your ruler would be like this way for the bias. So this is when you fold your fabric over like this, that's that 45-degree angle. And then you would cut that, and then you keep cutting from that to get your bias strips. And that's how you would get your bias strips on cutting regular fabric. And you would have to use those bias strips to sew your binding strips together. And then that bias strip, being on the bias, it will go around the curves pretty easily. And as I stated, make sure you use a small rotary cutter when you're cutting around curves in your quilting. Since it's not a straight line, you will have to go around the curves. And this quilting lines that you see is called matchstick quilting. And these threads right here, I have to take them through with a needle to the back and bury them on the back. And then once I get everything done, it's going to look pretty nice. Something else I would like to discuss with you all, and then it's good you can use your like this is a rotary mat, so you can use your rotary mat too to help you with going around, maneuvering the mat and then going around the curves. So sometimes people want to know what supplies they need for quilting. I won't try to give it all in one video. So what you can do is just look at what people are using when they're quilting. So you see here, there's this big mat. So you can get that. You will need that. This is a rotary mat, which I like. This is very useful when you want to cut like your half square triangles or quarter square triangles. This rotary mat really helps with the quarter square triangles because you can cut both ways with just by just rotating the mat. So you have the regular cutting mat for the rotary cutting. This is a rotating mat. So that's something that I use in my quilting. This is a small size, I think it's a 28 rotary cutter that you use for cutting curves like my apple core block. And as I stated, the drunkard's pad block and the mask template for the mask that lots of people were making, which I bought the template, but I never made a mask. These are the kind of rulers that I use in my quilting, and there are many brands. You get whatever you like. What I like about this ruler is it has the quarter square inch line right there. It has the little things on the back, let's see, to keep it from slipping. Now when I first started quilting, they had us to get these little sandy round things, so I think that's kind of innovative for them to add the little things on the back, like right there, to keep it from slipping when you quilt. So that's very important. I use my pencil like this to do my when I design on graph paper. I use pencils to write things out and things like that. So next time I'll show you all more of the things I use, more of the things you'll need in your quilting. Thanks for watching. Check you later.